One more time, feeling so free. We're gonna celebrate, celebrate, free. One more time, feeling so free. We're gonna celebrate, celebrate, free. One more time, feeling so free. We're gonna celebrate, celebrate, free. One more time, feeling so free. We're gonna celebrate.
We would like to thank you for attending today's game and for supporting West Texas A&M University. As a proud member of Division II, we celebrate our student athletes who embody the highest levels of sportsmanship, passion, balance, resourcefulness, service, and learning. The NCAA and the Lone Star Conference promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, or sexist comments or other intimidating actions directed at umpires, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the site of competition. Also, consumption or possession of alcoholic beverages and smoking at Buffalo Sports Complex is prohibited. Starting today for St. Texas Baptist, right number 3, shortstop, Jake Evans. Number 1, left field, Jacob Coon. Right number 22, center field, Clay Bradford. 13, first base, Brandon Bradford. Number 17, catcher, Easton Parrish. Number 2, third base, Rudy Silvas. Number 4, second base, Jake Elizondo. Number 5, DH, Brian Juarez. Number 18, right field, is Trey Guardo. And on the mound, number 24, Connor Schmidt. And starting today for the WT Buffaloes, number 21 on shortstop, Mike Mineta. Number 30, left field, Ryan Johnson. Wearing number 22 on third base, Adam Becker. 15 in right field, Will Fenning. Number 16 on first base, Dylan Fesperman. Wearing number 11, DH, Cam Loy. Wearing number 10 on second base, Eddie Savoy. Number 20 as catcher, Evan Leibel. Number 44, center field, Bryant Bailey. And on the mound, number 1, Nick Marshall. Will everyone please rise, and gentlemen, remove your caps for the playing of the national anthem.
WT student athletes drink low-fat chocolate milk post-workout because it helps replenish and restore muscles quickly to their peak potential. Scientific studies suggest that the immediate benefits of low-fat chocolate milk include boosted performance, improved training, and higher recovery rates in athletes. Add low-fat chocolate milk to your post-workout routine.
Go Bucks!
The best tailgates start with the best beef, and the best beef starts with Market Street. Market Street, where we do beef the best.
Some traditions to watch out for at Wilder Park, fans. Any home runs hit by your Buffs is the Carpet Tech home run. And strikeouts thrown by your Buff pitchers are Scarborough Specialty strikeouts. Watch out for flying t-shirts.
And I talk a whole lot of cause I can bag it. It's up, my heart cold, my legs make one club, my pockets fat swole. No, I don't eat pearls, ain't trapping, man. You just queer. I'm sipping color purple syrup, all in heart just like the beard. Yeah, and Larry Bird, I know you heard. 10 toes never in no word. I call shots, you heard. Money talking, what's the word? Hey, I pray but don't go to church. Don't ask me to spit a word. Can't trust no this devil word. Yeah, I know the devil word. And I know that nobody's perfect. Still can't trust the people serve. Yeah. I'm in my bag. Yeah, bag. I just made a bag. Yeah, bag. I just made a bag. Yeah, bag. Bag a big bag. I got a real addiction for this cash. Yeah. I got a real ambition for this cash. 13 years old with a shoebox stash. I'm always up to something, never sitting on my. Yeah, I got a real addiction for this.
At bat number 3, Jake Morris.
No, God damn it, no.
One count. It's set for the third offering from Nick Marshall as he comes home with it. That's low for ball 2. So 2 balls and a strike. It looks like we got some high school baseballers, River Road baseball team, making their way into the stands to come out and watch, and that's going to be hit out into right center field. But sliding over to make the catch is Brian Bailey, who got a good jump on the ball, battled the sun, and was able to pull that one in for a fly out to center field for out number 1. That'll bring up Jacob King. King, a freshman left fielder, batting .294. King from San Antonio, 5'9", 160 pounds, looks at a strike on the outside corner. Clay Bradford in the on-deck circle for the Rattlers of St. Mary's, again holding the 8th spot. And so they're in the playoff chase right now, but they're trying to hold on to that. Need to have a good series against the Buffaloes. The Buffaloes in the 4th spot in the playoffs. They need to have a good series against St. Mary's. That is low. So that runs the count to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes for Jacob King. Nick Marshall with 61 strikeouts, one of the top 5 category of that for the Lone Star Conference this season. Misses on that one, so runs the count even at 2-2. Marshall comes home. Fastball is low, so that runs the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. King, his 103rd plate appearance. He's got 30 hits. Has an on-base percentage of .363. Looks at strike 3 on the outside corner, and he wasn't looking for that pitch. And he knew it as he was walking back toward the dugout that something was thrown that he was not anticipating. And again, you watch here on the replay, Nick Marshall just comes and paints the outside corner. Credit Evan Leibel for showcasing that for the umpire as well. And so that's out number 2, and that'll bring up Clay Bradford. Bradford hitting from the left side, looks at a strike on the outside corner. Bradford, the junior, sends this one out into center field. Giving chase is Brian Bailey, and that's going to be off the wall. So Brian plays it off the wall, gets it in quickly to Mike Mineta. And so a double for Clay Bradford. First hit of the ball game for the Rattlers. And so here's the hit out to center field, off the wall for a double. And for Clay Bradford, that's his 9th double of the season. They retrieve the baseball, give it to the coaching staff, so has some significance for Clay. Here's a shot to Mike Mineta at shortstop, comes up on 2 hops, throws over to first, and Dylan Fesperman pulls that one in for out number 3. So Brandon Broughton is out 6-3 for out number 3. So no runs on 1 hit. There were no errors and 1 left on base. We have played half an inning. No score between the Buffaloes and the Rattlers. We'll take a timeout. We'll do so and be back right here on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
Deep in the heart of Texas, the prairie
Bud Light, proudly brewed
in the heart of Texas.
We are Carpet Tech, and we are family. More than carpet cleaners, we're a team. Diving right in, not afraid to invest in our work and each other. We're killing it day in and day out, never shrinking from a challenge. Our people are 1 part passion, 1 part grit, and about a zillion parts awesome. And we are always looking to add to our family. So what are you waiting for?
Well, welcome back to Wilder Park as we get set for the bottom of the 1st inning. And for the Buffaloes, it will be Mike Mineta to lead things off, as he has most of the season from his shortstop spot. He's the leadoff man. Mike batting .357 on the season. Ryan Johnson will bat second, then Adam Becker in the 3 spot. Will Finning will move up to 4. Dylan Fesserman, playing first base, will bat 5. Cameron Lloyd bats 6. He's the DH. Eddie Savoy at second base will bat 7th. Evan Leibel, the catcher, will bat 8th. And Brian Bailey will bat 9th. Mike Mineta batting .357, his 116th plate appearance. The senior from New York gets set, shows bunt, and pulls it back. That'll be a strike. Mineta from Farmingdale. Played at the Southern University of New York before coming to WT. And so the Rattlers pitcher, Corey Schmidt, quickly with 2 strikes on the leadoff man. That misses high for a ball. Corey Schmidt comes in with a record of 4-1. 7.18 earned run average. This is his 12th game appearance. He started 4. He has 1 complete game. Big, long, lanky right-hander. Schmidt, 6'6", 175-pound graduate student from Devine, Texas. Played at Devine High School. So a 2-2 count on Mineta. This one he sends out into left field, and that's going to be shallow left field, and that'll be in for a base hit. So Mike Mineta with a leadoff single for the Buffaloes. They have their first base runner of the game. And that'll bring up Ryan Johnson.
And at number 30, Ryan Johnson.
Johnson, the senior from Albuquerque, New Mexico. So steady at the plate, .359 this season, his 143rd plate appearance. He has 51 hits, 9 doubles, triple, 2 home runs, driven in 21. Slugging percentage of .479. Looks at strike 1. And an on-base percentage. And the on-base percentage for the Buffaloes has been incredible for 1 through 9 this year. His on-base percentage at .478. Ryan looks at a pitch high for a ball. Johnson batting from the right side. Pops this one up down the first baseline, and that'll be shallow into right field. Sliding over to make the catch, though, is Trey Gajardo. And so Ryan Johnson flies out to right for out number 1. That'll bring up Adam Becker.
22, Adam Becker.
And the senior from Midland, Texas, is leading in a ton of hitting categories in the Lone Star Conference, including batting average at .456. His 159th plate appearance. And he has 72 hits, one of the tops in the league in hits this season. 19 doubles, 13 home runs, one of the tops in the league there. And he's driven in 60 runs. Batting from the right side, looks at ball 1. From Connor Schmidt. That's going to be in there for a strike. So that evens the count at 1-1. Back, Adam likes to look at a strike when he's at the plate. Very rarely do you see him first pitch swinging. He'll take a good long look at the delivery and everything that Corey Schmidt will do to bring the ball to the plate. Becker looks at a pitch low for a ball. One thing about Adam Becker hits third in the lineup all the time, and so if they're trying to get around him, they're trying to get around him to the cleanup hitter. Today's Will Finning, who's batting .364. Ryan takes a cut, comes up empty. Good all-speed pitch by Connor Schmidt. So that evens the count at 2-2. Becker batting from the right side, settles in, ready to go. Sends this one out into center field, sliding over. Bradford will get underneath and pull that one in. So Becker flies out to center for out number 2. That'll bring up Will Finning. Graduate student Will Fenning, batting .364, his 122nd plate appearance. He has 44 hits. He's scored 41 runs. Driven in 37. Looks at a pitch as a strike on the outside corner. Looks back at the home plate umpire, who is Michael Moore today. Umpiring crew, Michael Moore behind the plate, Doug McClure at first, Greg Moore at third. Way outside for a ball. Evens the count at 1-1. Should Will get aboard, Dylan Fesperman, the first baseman, is due up next. And that got the inside corner for a strike. I think Will thought that was a little more inside than it is. However, Fenning has been hit 17 times. Ryan Johnson leads the league, 25 hit batsman this year. That's going to be up the base middle for a base hit, so Will Fenning with a single. Rounding second and heading to third is Mike Manetta. So runners at the corner for the Buffaloes with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first, and that'll bring up Dylan Fesperman. Fesperman, 6'4", 215-pound junior from Phoenix, Arizona, played at Arizona State before coming to the Buffaloes. First baseman, batting .302 on the season, his 64th plate appearance. Got 19 hits, 7 doubles, 4 home runs. He's driven in 22, and an opportunity to drive in a run right here facing Connor Schmidt. Schmidt comes home with it, and that's going to be in there for a strike. Good pitch. Should Fesperman get aboard, Cameron Loy, the DH today, in the on-deck circle. That's going to be hit down the right field line, fouling out of play. So that evens the count. Or, excuse me, that runs the count to 0-2. So Dylan behind in the count. Fesperman, a character. He's fun to be around, fun guy, loves to hit when the wind's blowing out, as it is today. Dylan settles in, ready to go. Looks at a pitch outside for a ball. That was a nice deceptive pitch from Connor. So the 6'6" senior toes the rubber, gets set, ready to come home with it. High for a ball. So Dylan works his way back to even the count at 2-2. Glorious afternoon, great afternoon to come out and enjoy baseball. Off-speed pitch inside. So a full count for Dylan Fesperman. That means that the runners will be off the bag on this next offering. Fenning at first, Manetta at third. And that one misses for a ball, so a walk. First walk given up. So that loads the bases for Cameron Loy. So Cameron Loy will come up, batting from the left side. Cameron, 291 at the plate, his 80th plate appearance. He's got 23 hits on the season, 9 doubles, 2 home runs. He's driven in 21. Loy from Mansfield, Texas, batting from the left side. 6-foot junior, looks at strike one. Eddie Savoy in the on-deck circle. That's going to be hit out towards the second baseman. Backpedals, comes up, throwing over to first in time. As Cameron Loy is retired 4-3 for out number 3. So no runs for the Buffaloes on 2 hits. There were no errors in the inning and 3 left on base. We have played an inning, no score here in Canyon. We'll take a timeout, be back right after this on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
We are Carpet Tech, and we are family. More than carpet cleaners, we're a team. Diving right in, not afraid to invest in our work and each other. We're killing it day in and day out, never shrinking from a challenge. Our people are 1 part passion, 1 part grit, and about a zillion parts awesome. And we are always looking to add to our family. So what are you waiting for?
Delicious, refreshing, Pepsi.
We know that egg producers don't quit at 5 p.m. We don't quit until the job's done either. Banker's hours don't apply at First United Bank because we believe egg lending isn't a 9-to-5 job. While you're out working the fields or managing the herd, we're making sure your money is working too. Whether it's for livestock, land, or equipment, we're one of the most dominant egg lenders in the state and have been burning the midnight oil since 1907. First United Bank. We know ag lending. We know ag.
Well, we go to the top of the second. Nick Marshall out for his second inning of work, and he'll face the 5, 6, and 7 batters in the lineup for the Rattlers of St. Mary's. Easton Parrish will lead things off, followed by Rudy Solis and Jake Elizondo. So Easton Parrish batting from the left side. First pitch is going to be high for a ball. Parrish out of Lavernia, Texas, played at Panola Junior College. 6-foot junior. He's ahead in the count 2-0. Pops this one up in shallow center field, and coming up quickly is Brian Bailey to pull that one in. So Parrish flies out to center field for out number 1. That'll bring up Rudy Solis. The third baseman, batting .327 on the season, his 108th plate appearance. He's got 27 hits, and he looks at strike 1. Solis, 6-foot senior from El Paso, played at New Mexico Military College before transferring to St. Mary's. Solis, 6 foot, 188 pounds, looks at a strike. So runs the count to 1-2. Solis takes a swing, and that's going to be a slow roller hit down the third base box. And to the head coach for St. Mary's as Chris Ermis pulls that one in. Outside corner misses to even the count at 2-2. Marshall checks the wristband. This is going to be sent slow roller to third. Becker comes up throwing, but there's no throw, as that was a slow roller, took a high hop. So Rudy Solis gets aboard. And an infield hit. That'll bring up Jake Elizondo, the second baseman. The junior batting .255, his 107th plate appearance. Elizondo with 27 hits on the season. Looks at a strike. Elizondo from San Antonio, played at Temple Junior College. Batting from the right side, pretty much a closed stance. Sends this one out to right field. That's going to be in for a base hit. So back-to-back hits. Here's Will Finning's throw in. But that was a nice run by Rudy Solis. So he'll be at third base. So back-to-back singles have runners at the corners for the Rattlers. Threatening here in the top of the second. That'll bring up Brian Juarez. He's the DH in today's contest, the senior batting .242. Juarez from Corpus Christi, played at Northeast Community College. 5'10", 210-pound senior, batting from the right side. Looks at a strike. Juarez settles in, down on the count 0-1. Marshall comes home with it, misses outside. Here's a throw to second base. They've got the runner in the hot box. They're looking at home, and he'll slide back to first base. Nice play, really, by Eddie Lavoie, who got the throw from Leibel, who ran the runner at third back. And so Solis decided not to advance, and so Elizondo was caught between first and second and retreated back to the bag at first. So 1 ball, 1 strike for Juarez. Looks at a ball. So 2 balls and a strike. Juarez, the DH in today's game, also plays third base. That's a strike on the outside corner. Man, that is good framing by Evan. As Leibel just got that and just made sure the umpire knew that it was right at the belt, right on the outside corner. Evens the count at 2-2. That's going to be low for a ball. So that runs the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Trey Guajardo, the right fielder, in the on-deck circle. 1 out, runners at first and third. Marshall trying to get out of a jam here. And so the batter is out. See if they make the runner go back, because they are. They're calling that interference, and so that's going to be a double play. So here's the strikeout, and then it's batter interference because Leibel couldn't make the throw. So the runner going to second, Elizondo, is out. And so that is the second strikeout for Nick Marshall. And so that ends the inning for the Rattlers. They had no runs on 2 hits. There were no errors in the inning. And 1 left on base. We have played an inning and a half. No score between the Rattlers and the Buffaloes. We'll take a timeout and be back right after this on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
It's got the looks, the style, the performance. Your new car is everything you always dreamed of, and now it's here. First Financial Bank was happy to help put you behind the wheel with a new car loan at a competitive rate and fast, friendly, local approval. It's service that just comes naturally to us, much like a love of tradition comes naturally to you. First Financial Bank, you first. Member FDIC.
Get set for the bottom of the second inning. Eddie Savoy to lead things off. And the junior from Montreal looks at a ball. Savoy. That one misses for ball 2. Second baseman batting from the right side. It's going to be fouled off at the plate. So 2 balls and a strike. It'll be Savoy, Leibel, and Bailey. 7, 8, and 9 in the order. That one misses for a ball. So 3 balls and a strike for the Buffalo second baseman. That is inside for ball 4. So second walk of the game. Eddie Savoy is aboard. I'm going to bring up Evan Leibel. Los Alamitos, California, the junior transfer from Oklahoma, from the University of Oklahoma, catching. Looks at a strike. Leibel batting .287 on the season. It's his 81st plate appearance. He's got 23 hits. Looks at a pitch outside for a ball. Evens the count at 1-1. Leibel, who got to the campus in January. So really just kind of getting into his groove right now. Looks at ball 2. They like the way he handles the pitchers. His batting has been coming around as of late. Schmidt's pitch is high for a ball. So 3 balls and a strike for Evan. Schmidt, who has gone 31 in the 3rd innings. Big right-hander gets set to come home with it. And got Leibel swinging out in front of that one on an off-speed pitch. That he runs the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Good crowd on hand for this one this afternoon. Again, pleasant afternoon, bit windy, although wind has subsided a bit. So Leibel, 3-2 pitch coming home to him. Pops this one up. This is a skyscraper that the shortstop, Jake Morris, is going to take over, and we'll pull that one in. So Evan is out number 1 with a pop up to the shortstop. That was sky high. And that'll bring up Brian Bailey. Brian from Lancaster, Texas. 5'9" junior batting from the right side. Looks at a pitch low for a ball. Brian batting .316 on the season, his 39th plate appearance. Got 12 hits. 3 of those are doubles. Brian has great speed. He is 3 for 4 in stolen base attempts this season. He's walked 9 times, struck out 8. Is that .471 on base percentage? Pitch is high for a ball. So 2 balls and a strike on the speedy center fielder for the Buffaloes. That pitch is high for a ball. So 3 balls and a strike. Eddie Savoy's at first base. And Leibel popped up to the shortstop for the first out. Now a 3-1 count on Brian Bailey. And there's ball 4, so another walk. Has runners at first and second for the Buffaloes. We go back to the top of the order. Mike Mineta has his old walk-up song back. They changed it the last home series. Mineta, who singled his last at bat, batting from the left side with runners at first and second. Looks at a pitch low. Mike batting .362. Mineta settles in up time before that, and quick time called by Chris Hermes. He wants to visit with his right-hander. Nobody's warming up for St. Mary's, so this will be a strategy talk here with his 6'6" pitcher. Hey, Rayburn Reynolds has probably served the Amarillo area for over 30 years. WT Athletics would like to recognize Rayburn Reynolds for their continued support of our athletics. WT Athletics would also like to thank Texas Farm Bureau Insurance for their continued support. Texas Farm Bureau members receive free tickets to all WT home sporting events. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, proud sponsor of the Buffaloes. So that conversation is over. Moneta with a 1-0 count. Drives this one past the second baseman. And that then is misplayed in right field by Guajardo. So one run will come home. And so Moneta will probably give him a single and an error. Yeah, that will be the case. So Moneta with a single to drive in a run. And you watch this. Mike got a hold of this, just wrapped it past the second baseman out into right field. Then Trey Guajardo just misplayed it. And so that allowed for Savoy to come on in and score. The Buffs lead at 1-0. And Brian Bailey over at third base. And Moneta at second for Ryan Johnson. Johnson, who flew out to right field his last at bat. Looks at a strike. That's hard to lay off, that curveball coming in. It's kind of one of those, and Ryan is just like Adam Becker from the standpoint, the senior. Likes to look at a strike, likes to get a feel for it. Got that one from Connor Schmidt. It's going to be low for a ball. That evens the count at 1-1. Johnson. Getting 9 doubles on the season, batting from the right side. Looks at a pitch down low for a ball. So 2 balls and a strike. Ryan batting .357, dropped a couple of points after flying out his last at bat. That pitch misses outside for a ball. So 3 balls and a strike on the hard-hitting left fielder for the Buffaloes. Adam Becker in the on-deck circle. Buffs lead it 1-0 here in the bottom of the second. That's going to be popped up out to right field, giving chase as the right fielder, and that one may be gone, and it is. A 3-run home run for Ryan Johnson as he got that one up in the jet stream, and the wind just kind of carried that over the 386 mark in right center as Ryan Johnson comes around to touch them all. Gets the congrats of his teammates as the Buffaloes now lead it 4-0. As Ryan just got a hold of this one, lifted it up out into right center field. Trey Guajardo was giving chase, but that one was over his head. And so the Buffaloes lead it now 4-0. And Adam Becker hits one out into center field, but that one's going to be gloved for an out. As Becker flies out to center for out number 2. So that's back-to-back flyouts to center field for Adam Becker. That'll bring up Will Fenning, senior from Scottsdale, Arizona, batting from the right side. Looks at a pitch inside for a strike. Fenning is so close to the plate. He and Johnson both. We talked about that last inning. Very compact swing from the right side for Fenning. Takes a cut. He's down in the count now, 0-2. Fenning, who singled his last at bat. Batting .369. Check swing. They see if he went around. The umpire says no. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fenning fouls this one off the plate, keeps the count at 1-2. Good fastball coming in from Connor Schmidt. Buffs 4 runs on 4 hits. And that is sharply hit down the third base line, but just barely foul. Keeps the count at 1-2. Still no action in the St. Mary's bullpen. Dave Jansen, the backup catcher, brings out some new baseballs for home plate umpire Michael Moore. He's ready to go. Finning, slow roller hit to third, be a tough play, and no throw as Finning beats that one out. So Will with back-to-back hits, board at first base. That'll bring up Dylan Fesperman, who walked his last at bat.
At number 16, Dylan Vesperman.
Junior from Phoenix, batting from the right side. Takes a big cut and comes up empty at an off-speed pitch. It was right where he wanted it, about the letters, but just out in front on that one. Vesperman batting from the right side, settles in, ready to go. Pitch is low for a ball. Cam Loy in the on-deck circle. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning. Buffs lead at 4-0. Good inside pitch. Got Vesperman swinging. Now he's down in the count 1-2. Dylan. Set a pitch outside for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fenning takes his lead off the bag at first. That's going to be outside for ball 3. So Fesperman able to come back and run the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. First base coach over there, Landon Garber. And off. And that is strike 3. Called on the inside corner as Dylan is out on strikes for out number 3. The first strikeout for Connor Schmidt. And you watch this pitch. Said it got the inside corner. Dylan threw his bat back. I think he thought that was ball 4, but nevertheless, he is out on strikes. Buffaloes, though, get 4 runs on 3 hits. There were no errors in the inning, and there was 1 left on base. We have played 2 complete. WT leads this one 4-0. We're back after this on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
We live where wide open roads lead to wide open spaces, where life is lived a different kind of way. We believe that generosity should always be given, but loyalty can only be earned. Community is sacred. Integrity is learned. We believe in going the extra mile, whether it's time to work or it's time to play. But most important, we believe in doing the right thing, always.
One West is the comprehensive fundraising campaign designed to fuel WT 125 from the Panhandle to the world. We will strengthen WT's impact for the Panhandle region and beyond through a historic, comprehensive campaign raising $125 million by 2025. The campaign's 3 priorities: people, programs, and places. Now is the time to make a difference for current and future generations. One West.
Trey Fajardo will lead things off, batting in the number 9 spot. Then back to the top of the order, Jake Morris and Jacob King. Here's a first hit swinging to Savoy over at second base, over to first in time for the putout. 1 pitch, 1 out, as Fajardo is retired 4-3 for out number 1. Excuse me. Buffaloes lead at 4-0 thanks to a 3-run home run from Ryan Johnson. Now batting, top of the order, Jake Morris. looks at ball one. Jake, who flew out to right center his first at bat. He's ahead in the count now. Nick Marshall 2-0. Marshall kind of circles pitching rubber, now comes back and misses low with that one, 3-0. Morris batting .345. Looks at a strike on the outside corner. And the St. Mary's fans that are here, there's a few that have made the trick, disagree with the call. So 3 balls and a strike. And that's drilled down the third baseline. Fair. That stays inside the bag at third base, goes down in the corner. Ryan Johnson picks it up, and he'll get it back to the infield. And so a double for Jake Morris. Second double of the ball game for the Rattlers. So he has a 1-out double, and again, just a hard shot down the third base line. Got all of that pitch. No play for Adam Becker as that one heads down. And so standing at second base for Jacob King is Jake Morris. Jacob King, who struck out his last at bat. Jacob looks at ball one. King batting .291. King from the right side. He's going to pitch outside for ball two. So not sure if Marshall sat a little too long, got a little cool sitting in the dugout. But that's ball two. King from San Antonio. Freshman settles in with good speed. He's going to pitch outside for ball three. So 3-0 for Nick Marshall. There's a strike on the outside corner. So 3 balls and a strike on the left fielder for the Rattlers. Wearing their gray uniforms, blue trim, blue numerals. That one misses for ball four. First walk given up by Nick Marshall. So runners at first, on first and second. That'll bring up Clay Bradford. Bradford, who doubled his last at bat, works his way into the batter's box. Bradford settles in. Marshall checks the runner at second. That's high for a ball. Bradford batting .404. Got 4 more percentage points following that double the last inning. 1 for 1 at the plate. Fouls that one off. Evens the count at 1-1. Jake Morris, shortstop at second base. Jacob King, the left fielder, at first. Clay Bradford, now the center fielder, takes a cut and comes up empty. So 1 ball, 2 strikes now on the power hitting center fielder. Bradford, that pitch is high for a ball. Doesn't bite on the offering, about at the numbers, but outside. Evens the count at 2-2. Bradford settles in. 2-2 pitch from Marshall on its way. Misses low for a ball. So full count. For the junior. pass to Casita. Takes a swing and an off-speed pitch, and he's out on strikes. Good pitch from Nick Marshall. That is his third strikeout of the ball game. That is out number 2. And again, just a good delivery. Had it at about the belt, but at the outside part of the plate, a bit off speed. And so Bradford, could not catch up to it. Brings up Brandon Broughton, first baseman. Batting from the right side with 2 outs now. Takes a swing, hits it toward Manetta. Manetta over to second base for the putout. And so Buffs get out of that one. No runs on 1 hit. No errors, 2 left on base. We have played 2.5. The Buffaloes lead it 4-0. We'll take a timeout and be back for the bottom of the third after this on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
90 years, the Lone Star Conference has been committed to excellence. What began in 1931 as a 5-team conference has grown to 18 institutions spanning 4 states. And while membership has changed, the pursuit of athletic success and academic excellence has never wavered. 119 national championships, over 2,000 All-Americans, and nearly 300 academic All-Americans. Celebrating 90 years of success, this is the Lone Star Conference.
This is a walk-on athlete. They train longer, put their heart into the game. This is the passion we're built on. It's why we put our heart into creating game day with a taste of Louisiana. Walk-ons, we live for this.
Well, we go to the bottom of the third. Buffaloes lead it 4-0. Connor Schmidt, continues pitching. Schmidt, 6'6", fifth-year player from Devine, Texas, graduate student. Gets set to face Cam Loy, batting in the 6th spot. Then Eddie Savoy and Evan Leibel. The Buffs sent 8 players to the plate back in the 2nd inning. So Cam Loy will lead things off. Cam grounded out to second his last at bat. Looks at a pitch outside for a ball. Loy batting .287. There's a strike on the outside corner. So that evens the count at 1-1. Sun-splashed afternoon, early evening. That one's going to be in there for a strike as well. So 1 ball, 2 strikes on the left-handed hitting DH for the Buffaloes. Sends this one out into left or right field, and that one is going to fall in for a base hit. So Cam Loy gets aboard with a single. So he hits that out to right in front of Trey Guajardo. That'll bring up Eddie Savoy, who walked his last at bat, came around to score on that hit from Mike Manetta, score the first run of the ball game. Savoy looks at a strike. Savoy batting .270. This is his 127th plate appearance. He has 34 hits this season. Pitch is inside for a ball. Evens the count at 1-1. Savoy's walked 19 times. He struck out 15. So the pitch way outside for a ball. Savoy is a very patient hitter. He'll take a lot of pitches. Good even stance. Batting from the right side. Pitch is inside for a ball, so Savoy runs the count to 3-1. Again, walked his last at bat, came around to score. Savoy, line shot, and oh man, that was dropped by the third baseman. What a break for Rudy Solis and the Rattlers. Line shot hit from Eddie Savoy to third baseman Rudy Solis, who drops it and then is able to pick it up, throw to second because Cam Lloyd was going back to first because he thought he caught it. So they get the double play. First pitch swinging, that's out into right field for Evan Leibel. Evan digs for second base. So standing up at second base with his 7th double of the season is Evan Leibel. Again, like I said, he's starting to get into a groove at the plate. And so again, you watch just first pitch swinging. Leibel drives that down the right field line.
Bailey.
So 2 outs, and that brings up Brian Bailey, who walked his last at bat, looks at a strike. Bryant batting .316. Runner at second base. That's going to be slowly hit towards first. It's a foul ball. So gloved by Rowden, who gives it back to his pitcher. Connor Schmidt will take the walk back to the pitching mound. Takes a look in at his battery mate, Easton Parrish. Gets the pitch he wants for Bryant Bailey. Bailey batting from the right side. Sends this one down the first base line, fouling out of play. Right now, the first base umpire is battling the sun. So, too, is Brandon Broughton and Jake Lozardo. Guys playing on the right side are looking right at it. So, an 0-2 count for Bailey. Takes a swing and comes up empty on an off-speed pitch. Second strikeout of the ball game for Connor Schmidt. In out number 3, the Buffaloes no runs on 2 hits, no errors, 1 left on base. We have played 3 complete. WT leads it 4-0. We'll take a timeout and be back after this on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
Welcome to MediDrive Pharmacy. We greet you by name, and our pharmacists take the time to console you and answer all your questions. Our Health Mart Pharmacy specializes in serving our community with fast, friendly professional service and the highest quality of medicine and health products. We accept most insurance plans, including Medicaid and Medicare, and we offer free in-town delivery to your home or business. Come visit us for all your health care needs.
It's got the looks, the style, the performance. Your new car is everything you always dreamed of, and now it's here. First Financial Bank was happy to help put you behind the wheel with a new car loan at a competitive rate and fast, friendly, local approval. It's service that just comes naturally to us, much like a love of tradition comes naturally to you. First Financial Bank, you first. Member FDIC.
So 5, 6, and 7 get set to face Nick Marshall, who's working into his 4th inning of work. The Buffaloes lead it by a count of 4-0. Again, thanks in part to Ryan Johnson's 3-run home run. Easton Parrish, the catcher, will lead things off. He'll be followed by Rudy Solis and Jake Elizondo. Parrish, who flew out to center field his last at bat. Batting from the left side. Parrish looks as at a pitch down low for a ball. Marshall takes a big walk around the pitching hill and then makes his way back up. Comes home with it. Hit toward Third baseman Adam Becker for a base hit for Easton Parrish. That's the 5th hit given up by Nick Marshall. And that'll bring up Rudy Solis, the third baseman. Solis from El Paso. 6-foot senior takes a look at ball 1 inside. Rudy singled his last at bat, was left stranded at third base back in the 2nd inning. Open stance, batting back in the batter's box from the right side. Sends this one out to center field. Brian Bailey gives chase, and that one may be over his head. It is. And so that bounces off the wall. 1 run's going to score. Here's the relay in from Brian Bailey. But that'll be a triple for Rudy Solis. He'll drive in a run on a hit off the wall out in center field as Parrish comes home to score to make it 4-1. So the 6th hit given up by Nick Marshall is a triple to Solis. That'll bring up Jake Elizondo, who singled his last at bat. Looks at a strike. So 4-1 our score here in the top of the 4th. Pitch misses for a ball. Down low, evens the count at 1-1. Elizondo batting from the right side. Pops this one up to Mike Mineta. He mishandles it, throws it over to first base. Not in time. Another run comes home as Mike Mineta bobbled it. See if they count that, and that will be an error. So again, you watch this one, just a hard hit to Mineta, but he bobbled it. So that allows a run to score to make it 4-2. So Elizondo aboard on an E6. So he's over at first base. Brian Juarez, who struck out his last at bat, down in the count 0-1. Drives this one out to left field. That one is going to be a foul ball. So no 2 count, and that Juarez got a hold of that one just a little to the left of the yellow foul pole, but he drove it. So Marshall getting roughed up here in the 4th inning. Off-speed pitch, and he strikes out Juarez for his 2nd time he's been struck out. That is the first out of the inning. 4th strikeout for Nick Marshall. And again, just got him on an off-speed pitch. Got him back on his heels a little bit. So he's out number 1. Trey Guajardo come up, who grounded out back in the 3rd. Runner off. Here's the throw to second base. In time to tag the runner. He's out. So not really a good jump for Elizondo. His nice arm from Evan Leibel. He's retired. 2-4 for out number 2. And again, you watch this one. Good jump, or not really a good jump, is he didn't get out the way he wanted to, I should say. And a great throw from Evan Leibel to get him tagged out at second base. So like that, there are 2 outs now. And nobody on base for Trey Guajardo. Trey with a 1-1 count, now down in the count 1-2. Trey, as mentioned, grounded out to Eddie Savoy. Takes a swing and comes up empty, and there's a throw over to first base. Leibel kind of bounces it to Vesperman, but Dylan comes up with it, and so that's out number 3. And so that is another strikeout. That is the 5th for Marshall. So 2 runs come across for the Rattlers on 2 hits. There was an error in the inning, and no one left on base. We have played 3.5, 4-2 in favor of the Buffaloes. We'll take a timeout. Be back after this on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
For a onside kick, landed on my knee pretty hard and ended up fracturing my femur. I ended up having to go back and have surgery. Even the day after I had surgery, I was back in the clinic here. It's nice to have people help me rehab at a caliber of what I'm used to feeling like I can do. One thing that I really liked was having the access to the turf, because that's what I'm used to playing on. Now, I mean, it feels like nothing had ever happened. You have a choice of where you can go. This is one of the best places in Amarillo.
Mike Mineta will lead things off for the Buffaloes as we get set to start the bottom of the 4th inning, facing Connor Schmidt. Schmidt, who has allowed 4 runs on 7 hits. There's been 1 error committed. First pitch to Mineta is in there for a strike. Mineta is 2 for 2 at the plate today, 2 singles. He's batting .368. Looks at a pitch outside for a ball. Connor Schmidt beginning to pick up his pace a little bit, coming a little quicker. Fouled off at the plate. So 1 ball, 2 strikes for the leadoff man for the Buffaloes. Senior from Farmingdale, New York, looks at a pitch outside for a ball. So 2-2 the count for Mineta. That one gets by the catcher for ball 3. So full count. It's Mineta, Johnson, and Becker, 1, 2, and 3 in the order, and that's going to be ball 4. Mike Mineta gets aboard for the 3rd time in the ball game. And that's the 4th walk given up by Connor Schmidt. That'll bring up Ryan Johnson, who's 1 for 2 at the plate today. Johnson, who flew out to right field in the 1st and hit a 3-run home run in the 2nd. Pushed the Buffs in front 4-0 at that point. Sends this one down the left field line sky high. Giving chase is King, and that one is gone. Another home run, a 2-run home run for Ryan Johnson. So that was sky high up in the wind. And Ryan Johnson has back-to-back home runs. And 2 more runs come across for the Buffaloes as they now lead it 6-2. And again, just sky high in this one. And giving chase is Jacob King, but that one hits the scoreboard and bounces off. That is runs 4 and 5 driven in by Ryan Johnson. That'll bring up Adam Becker. Looks at a strike. Last time up, he hit first pitch following the home run. He took a swing at the first pitch, and he doesn't normally do. There's a ball, 1-1 the count. He flew out to center field both in the 1st and 2nd innings. Sends this one down the right field line, fouling out of play. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. That's outside for a ball. Ball 2, 2-2. I think Matt Vandenberg's down in the first base coach's box. Drilled to the 3rd baseman. Coming up throwing and barely getting there, but it does beat out Becker. He didn't get out of the box very well. So he grounds out to third, 5-3 for out number 1. That'll bring up Will Fenning.
At number 15, Will Fenning.
Fenning, who is 2 for 2 at the plate today, batting .374. First pitch is a strike inside. He looks back again. And I think the funny thing about Will Fenning is he's so close to the plate. Those inside pitches seem like they should be outside to him, but they're right on the outside corner, or inside corner, I should say, because he wants to protect that outside corner. So a 1-1 count on the right fielder. The pitch gets away from the catcher. So 2 balls and a strike. Fenning, who played at Paradise Valley Community College before coming to WT. He's working on his master's. Sends that one fouling out of play. A master's in finance. So that evens the count at 2-2. That's going to be low for a ball. So full count for Will Fenning. It's the 88th pitch here in the ball game for Connor Schmidt. That's going to be fouled off and out of play. Keeps the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes as Fenning protects home plate. Dylan Fesperman in the on-deck circle. That one hits Fenning. So Will make his way down to first base. First hits batsman today. That one just comes in tight and gets the right or the left leg, and so Will Fenning is aboard for the 3rd time in the ball game, and that'll bring up Dylan Fesperman, who struck out and walked. He's 0 for 1 at the plate today. Sends a slow roller towards third. Solis comes up throwing in time for the putout. So Fesperman is retired 5-3 for out number 2. Fenning makes his way to second base. That'll bring up Cam Loy. Cam struck out his last, or I should say singled his last at bat. He grounded out his first at bat. He's 1 for 2. Cam batting .296, batting from the left side. Looks at a strike. Loy from Mansfield. 6-foot junior. Schmidt checks the runner at second base as Fenning comes home with it. Off-speed pitch got Cam swinging. He's down in the count 0-2. So Cam settles back in, ready to go. 0-2 pitch from Schmidt. Fouled off at the plate. Keeps the count at 0-2. First of 4 games between the Buffaloes and St. Mary's. Buffaloes in the 4th spot in the LSC, while St. Mary's in the 8th and final playoff spot. Loy sends this one sky high out to shallow, or to the pitcher actually. Schmidt pulls that one in. And so Cameron Loy pops up to the pitcher for out number 3. So the Buffaloes get 2 more runs on 1 hit. There were no errors in the inning, and there was 1 left on base. We have played 4, and the Buffs lead it 6-2. We'll take a time. I'll be back with more right here on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
West is the comprehensive fundraising campaign designed to fuel WT 125 from the Panhandle to the world. We will strengthen WT's impact for the Panhandle region and beyond through a historic, comprehensive campaign, raising $125 million by 2025. The campaign's 3 priorities: people, programs, and places. Now is the time to make a difference for current and future generations. One West.
When you choose natural gas, chocolate chip cookies get a little tastier. Homes get a little cozier. Bank accounts tend to put on some weight. Towels get fluffier. Showers stay hotter for longer. And our blue planet gets a little greener. When it comes to choosing energy that's clean and efficient, nothing else could be more American. Atmos Energy, your natural gas company.
Well, as we head to twilight, Buffs lead at 6-2 here in the top of the 5th inning. And it'll be top of the order for the Rattlers as Jake Morris will lead things off, followed by Jacob King and then Clay Bradford. 1, 2, and 3 in the lineup, facing Nick Marshall here in the 5th inning. Marshall's allowed 2 runs on 6 hits. Buffs have committed an error. Morris looks at a pitch low for ball 2. He is doubled and has flown out to right center field. It's 1 for 2 at the plate. Looks at a pitch low for ball 3. So 3-0 the count from Nick Marshall. Nick will pause and now come for the outside corner with it, and that is there for a strike. So 3 balls and a strike for the right-hander. That one, same spot, same result. Now the count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Marshall from Antigua, Wisconsin, played at Indian Hills Community College. This one's fouled off at the plate, and I think that got his ankle. Let's see if Morris, they're going to let him kind of reset here a little bit. That one hurts. Evan Leibel will chat with him here a minute, but yeah, he fouled it off his left foot. So he's going to walk around a minute as the stinging subsides. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Slowly makes his way back into the batter's box. Umpire giving him plenty of time, because that just stings, and it doesn't go away quickly. Morris settles in, ready to go. Inside pitch, they appeal. Say he did not go around, and so that'll be a walk. So that's the second walk given up by Nick Marshall. And puts the leadoff man aboard at first base. That bring up Jacob King, who walked his last at bat. King, batting from the right side, is 0 for 1 at the plate. He struck out back in the first. Looks at a pitch low for a ball. Marshall checks the wristband, walks all the way off pitching hill, and works his way back up. Inside corner misses, and even King had his legs buckling on that one, but umpire says that is ball 2. So 2 balls and no strikes for King. Marshall has that one fouled off at the plate. So 2 balls and a strike to King. Clay Bradford in the on-deck circle for the Rattlers. Buffs lead at 6-2, top of the 5th inning. Marshall gets set to come home with it. Oh, good breaking ball, but they said that was too far inside for ball 3. Marshall trying to buy that one a little bit. Thought that one might have got the inside corner. So 3-1 the count. Morris takes his lead off the bag at first, and that one misses for ball 4. So back-to-back walks by Nick Marshall. And that'll bring up Clay Bradford, who struck out his last at bat. He's 1 for 2 at the plate today. Top of the 5th inning. Bradford settles in, ready to go. Marshall checks the runner at second, then comes home with it. That's going to be drilled out to left field, and that one may be gone. And that one is gone. A 3-run home run as Bradford was sitting on that pitch on the outside corner. 3rd home run of the ball game. And so that cuts it to a 1-run lead. Buffs lead it now by a count of 6-5. As 2 walks come back to haunt Nick Marshall here. It's the 7th hit giving up by the right-hander. So no outs here in the inning. And again, you watch on the replay, this is just a solid wrap. There's a strike to Brandon Broughton. First baseman who is 0 for 2 at the plate today. Hit into a fielder's choice to end the 3rd inning and grounded out. This one is shot down the 3rd base line, fouling out of play. Broughton behind in the count, 0-2. That one misses on the outside corner for a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 6-5 our score. St. Mary's has fought their way back here in the 5th. That's drilled out to center field, and that one is going to fall in for a base hit. Ryan Johnson gets it, retrieves it, brings it in quickly. So 2nd hit in a row. So we go to Easton Parrish. So Parrish, who singled his last at bat and came around to score, is also flown out to center field. It's fouled off at the plate for a strike. Marshall still throwing hard. One misses low for a ball. Parrish from Lavernia, Texas. 6-foot junior batting from the left side. Check swing. So it runs the count to 1-2. Excuse me, 2-1. 2 balls and a strike. That's high for ball 3. Marshall checks the runner at first base. Broughton takes his lead. That's going to be hit to Eddie Savoy. Only 1 play over to first in time for the putout. So Parrish is retired 4-3 for out number 1. And Broughton makes his way to second base. That'll bring up Rudy Solis, who has tripled and singled. He is 2 for 2 at the plate today, batting .339. But Coach Corey Hall is going to come out and talk to his right-hander before that. Kind of visit with Nick Marshall and get a good sense of where he is here in the game. Buffs lead it 6-5. W2 6 runs on 8 hits, 1 error. They've left 6 on base, while St. Mary's has 5 runs on 8 hits, 1 error. They've left 4 on base. Amarillo National Bank, we'd like to thank them for their support of WT Athletics. Amarillo National Bank, locally owned, family strong, and here to stay. And WT Athletics would like to thank Legends Canyon for being a proud sponsor of the WT student section for all athletic events. Thank you for your continued support. Journey Coffee and Journey Canyon Coffee is a proud supporter of WT Athletics. Stop in or drive through for your favorite hot or iced drink. We thank you for your continued support of WT Athletics. So Coach Hall broke up the conversation, made its way back to the dugout. Went out here in the top of the fifth. 6-5 our score. And at the plate is Rudy Solis. Looks at a ball high. Solis batting .339. Had that triple back in the fourth inning and came around to score. Also drove in a run. So Lee settles back in. Marshall checks the runner at second and then swinging, so Lee misses on that offering. So 2 balls and a strike. Jake Elizondo in the on-deck circle for St. Mary's. That's a strike on the outside corner. Solis doesn't buy it. Thought it was a ball, but that evens the count at 2-2. So 2 hits in the inning, 1 a 3-run home run from Clay Bradford after 2 walks by Nick Marshall. It's made it a 6-5 ball game. Outside corner misses for a ball. Now that has the count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Marshall toes the rubber on the far left side. And that one misses for ball 4. And Evan Leibel looks back. He thought that was strike 3. So another walk given up by Nick Marshall, 3rd in the inning. You look at the pitch, and I can kind of see why Leibel might have thought that was a strike in the outside corner. About at the knee level. Didn't get the call, though. That'll bring up Jake Elizondo. Elizondo swings and fouls this one off for strike 1. Got a board on an error back in the 4th inning. And singled in the 2nd. He is 1 for 2 at the plate. Batting .259. Sends this one down the first base line, fouling out of play. So an 0-2 count on Elizondo. Brian Juarez in the on-deck circle. Runners at first and second. Solis at first. Rowden at second. That one misses outside for a ball. St. Mary's trying to tie this one up or grab the lead here in the top of the 5th. That one misses way outside for a ball. So 2-2 the count. Jake Elizondo, the second baseman for St. Mary's. Elizondo settles in, batting from the right side. That one's down in the dirt for ball 3. So Nick Marshall in need of a strikeout here with 2 aboard. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Jake Elizondo. That one's fouled off at the plate. Keeps the count at 3-2. So the 3-2 pitch. Misses outside for ball 4. So back-to-back walks, loads the bases. Now there's some action heading down to the WT bullpen area. Isaac Keene will make his way down there to start warming up. He's got a pitch hitter in for Brian Juarez. So pitch hitting will be there's a look at ball one. So number 39 is out there to pitch hit, but unfortunately on the roster we don't have a 39. Well, they're going to say it's Magana. So he's the pitch hitter. Pitch hitting for Brian Juarez. Gana, 5'9", 180-pound freshman from San Antonio. Sends this one out to second base, on for one, and on in time for two, a double play. Nice play by Mike Bonetta as that one's hit to him, and he is able to step on the bag to get Elizondo out. 6 unassisted for out number 2, and Gana is retired 6-3 for out number 3. But 8 batters went to the plate for the Rattlers. They get 3 runs on 2 hits. No errors in the inning, and there was 1 left on base, or 2 left on base. So we played 5.5. It's a 6-5 ball game. Buffs will come up for their bottom of the 5th, but first this time out. This is the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
Suddenlink is now Optimum, with award-winning internet, TV, and mobile, giving you the power to get closer and go farther with speed and reliability. With our new 100% fiber internet we're building, together with Optimum Mobile, voted #1 in customer satisfaction, you'll get the complete connectivity you deserve. And when you combine Optimum's award-winning connectivity with our 24/7 customer service, your future is only a connection away.
So Eddie Savoy will lead things off here in the bottom of the 5th and look at strike 1. Savoy, who walked and scored back in the 2nd, then lined out to the 3rd baseman in the 3rd. 0 for 1 at the plate today. Eddie batting from the right side. There's a strike. Good pitch. Good off-speed pitch. Runs the count to 1-2. Connor Schmidt working here in the 5th inning. That one misses for ball 2. So 2-2 the count. Schmidt, who has allowed 6 runs on 8 hits. That one misses. So full count on the second baseman for the Buffaloes. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Savoy ready to go. Schmidt comes home with it. That's way inside for ball 4. So Eddie Savoy will take another walk as he heads down to first base. 5th walk given up by Connor Schmidt.
Next at bat for the Buffs, number 20, Evan Leibel.
That'll bring up Evan Leibel, who's 1 for 2 at the plate today. He's doubled his last at bat. Popped up to the shortstop. That's going to be high for a ball. There is action in the Rattlers bullpen, and now still action in the Buffaloes bullpen. So working here in the 5th. It's high for a ball. So 2-0 the count on Evan Leibel. Schmidt already over 100 pitches here, working in the 5th, and he and Parrish have a conversation, and I'm not too sure. That's not Parrish walking out to give his bullpen a little more time to warm up. Want to make sure they're on the same page. So Parrish will return back behind home plate. Leibel with a 2-0 count. Settles back in. That misses outside for ball 3. Sun is still out, and so it causes some problems at first and second. Right field. Shadows encroaching on third base. That's 4 straight pitches for a walk, so back-to-back walks. Have runners at first and second for the Buffaloes. And that'll bring out head coach Chris Ermis to visit with his right-hander, and that may be all. So we're going to have a pitching change. Buffaloes with 2 aboard here, leading 6-5 in the bottom of the 5th. We'll take a timeout and be back after this on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
Link is now Optimum, with award-winning internet, TV, and mobile, giving you the power to get closer and go farther with speed and reliability. With our new 100% fiber internet we're building, together with Optimum Mobile, voted #1 in customer satisfaction, you'll get the complete connectivity you deserve. And when you combine Optimum's award-winning connectivity with our 24/7 customer service, your future is only a connection away.
One West is the comprehensive fundraising campaign designed to fuel WT 125 from the Panhandle to the world. We will strengthen WT's impact for the Panhandle region and beyond through a historic, comprehensive campaign raising $125 million by 2025. The campaign's 3 priorities: people, programs, and places. Now is the time to make a difference for current and future generations. One West.
Jared Scherer, Jr., gets the call from the bullpen. He'll come in and replace Connor Schmidt here. Connor, we can't close the books on him yet. We're at 4 innings, allowed 6 runs on 8 hits. He walked 6, struck out 2, hit 1 batter. Scherer comes on in relief. He has a 1-1 record on the season. This is his. Well, he's pitched in 7 innings so far this season. He's allowed 12 hits, 14 runs, 10 of those earned. He's walked 7, struck out 6. And he'll face Brian Bailey with runners at first and second. First pitch is bunted, but that's going to be foul. Scherer has a 12.86 earned run average. So Brian Bailey, who is 0 for 1, he's walked and scored and struck out. Pops this one out, so he's fouled off 2 pitches. He's down in the count 0-2. So Bailey settles back in, ready to go. Runners at first and second. That's down in the dirt for a ball. So 1 ball and 2 strikes for the junior from Lancaster. Bailey settles in ready. Then this one down the third base line, fouling out of play. Sure, the left-hander checks the runner at second and comes home, and that's going to be popped up. That's going to be second baseman taking charge, and he'll control it as Jake Elizondo is able to put him out for out number 1. Go back to the top of the order, Mike Manetta. Manetta 2 for 2 at the plate today. He's been on base 3 times. His 4th plate appearance. Left-hander facing the left-handed Scherer. Off-speed pitch is going to be high for a ball. Shadows him engulfed third base, heading out toward the pitching rubber right now. That's going to be a strike. So 1-1 count for Mike Manetta. That's outside corner, misses for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. Still action in the St. Mary's bullpen. Scherer comes home with it. That's fouled off at the plate. So it evens the count at 2-2. Manetta settles in. Lights are on here at Wilder Park. Manetta fouls this one off at the plate. Manetta settles back in. 2-2 pitch from Scherer on its way. That's going to be lined to the second baseman. Comes up throwing in time to second, but not in time to first. And so Evan Leibel is retired. 4-6 for out number 2. Manetta's aboard on a fielder's choice at first. And Eddie Savoy now down at third. That'll bring up Ryan Johnson, who is 2 for 3 at the plate today. 2 home runs. He's driven in 5. Got an opportunity for another RBI with Savoy down at third base. Ryan settles in, ready to go. That one hits him. So he'll head to first base. So that'll load the bases. As that one grazed. Ryan Johnson, that is the, let's see, for Ryan, that is the league-leading 26th time he's been hit by a pitch this season. So that loads the bases for the Buffaloes for Adam Becker, who is 0 for 3 at the plate today. Becker batting from the right side. Looks at a strike. Adam batting .447. So the 0-1 pitch from Scherer on its way. That's going to be popped up into shallow center field. And that one's dropped. And so 3 runs will come home for the Buffaloes because everybody was off with the pitch. And Becker will be at second base. So because of 2 outs, everybody took off with the crack of the bat. Savoy comes home, Manetta comes home, and again, watch this one, giving chase is center fielder Clay Bradford, but just kind of got fooled by the wind on that one and just couldn't pull that one in. And so 3 more runs come home for the Buffaloes. That'll bring up Will Fenning. Fenning is 2 for 2. He was also hit by a pitch today. Looks at a high pitch for a ball. Buffaloes lead it 9-5. That one's drilled out to center field, and giving chase and coming up underneath that one is Clay Bradford, and so Fenning flies out to center for out number 3. But the Buffaloes do get 3 runs on 1 hit. There were no errors in the inning and 1 left on base. We have played 5 complete. Buffs lead at 9-5. We'll take a timeout. Be back after this on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
Since 1933, the Panhandle Plains Historical Museum has housed the vast history of Panhandle Plains, given back to the community, and provided educational resources to those who live here. Located on the campus of West Texas A&M University, PPHM is free to all students, faculty, and staff at WT. We offer volunteer opportunities, internships, and hands-on research experience. From prehistoric times to pioneer travels, there's something for everyone at the largest history museum in Texas. Stop by and see us sometime. Oh, and don't forget, go Buffs!
Well, the Buffaloes pushed 3 runs across, and so they increased the lead to 9-5 for Nick Marshall, who comes out for his 6th inning of work. First pitch is in there for a strike to a pitch hitter, and that is going to be Ryan McGowan. Set a pitch down low for a ball. McGowan hitting in place of Trey Guajardo. McGowan, 221 at the plate. This is his 114th plate appearance, and sends this one out into right field for a base hit. So McGowan gets aboard with a single. And we go back to the top of the order, Jake Morris. He is 1 for 2. He walked back in the 5th and scored. Looks at a strike from Nick Marshall. Flew out to right field, right center field in the 1st, and had a double in the 3rd. Walked in the 5th and scored. Looks at a strike on the inside part of the plate. So he's down in the count 0-2. There's a shot to Manetta over to Savoy on to first. Not in time for the double play, but they did get the lead runner. And so Ryan McGowan is out 6-4 for out number 1. And Jake Morris is on a fielder's choice. That'll bring up Jacob King. King has walked twice. He scored back in the 5th. He's also struck out. Marshall working here in the 6th. It's a shot to Mineta, and that bounces off of him. And no play, so that'll be another E6 as King gets aboard. So Mike Mineta, kind of uncharacteristic there at the shortstop spot today with 2 errors. That brings up Clay Bradford, who homered his last at bat. He's 2 for 3 at the plate. He struck out in the 3rd, doubled in the 1st, and then hit that 3-run home run. That one gets by the catcher, Evan Leibel. He runs it down, keeps it in front of him. So 1-0 count for Bradford. Runners at first and second. Marshall steps off the pitching rubber. Now steps back on, toes it. Checks the runner at second and comes home. Off-speed pitch. Had Bradford out in front. So 1 ball, 1 strike to Clay Bradford. Outside corner misses for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. Mike Moore, the umpire, looks over at the WT dugout and says it was low. That's why he didn't call it. So 2 balls and a strike. Inside corner's low for a ball. Runs the count to 3-1. Top of the 6th, 9-5. Buffaloes with the lead. That's high for ball 4. Bradford draws the walk. That's the 5th given up by Nick Marshall. And that loads the bases for Brandon Broughton. Broughton, who singled his last at bat. He is 1 for 3, and that may be all for Nick Marshall as the guys at Keene was warming up. So Marshall, that is the last batter. Can't close the book on him, but he goes 5 1/3. So we'll get his numbers, but first we'll have this pitching change. We'll have that and be back after this on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
Doors and Windows began serving the Texas Panhandle in 1927, and we take pride in being a part of your neighborhood. We don't use false promises or gimmicks. We simply offer quality doors and windows at a fair price, and we stand behind every sale. Jenkins is family owned and operated, and proudly continues the traditions of quality and excellence that started over 80 years ago. Call us at 372-4336 or stop by our showroom at 820 West 6th and let our knowledgeable staff help you pick out the perfect doors and windows for your home.
Went for a onside kick. Landed on my knee pretty hard and ended up fracturing my femur. I ended up having to go back and have surgery. Even the day after I had surgery, I was back in the clinic here. It's nice to have people help me rehab at a caliber of what I'm used to feeling like I can do. One thing that I really liked was having the access to the turf, because that's what I'm used to playing on. Now, I mean, it feels like nothing had ever happened. You have a choice of where you can go. This is one of the best places in Amarillo.
Welcome to Shimon Dental Group, where every day we're excited to see our patients and treat them like family.
We are dedicated to providing you with the highest quality care in a friendly and comfortable environment. Shimon Dental Group's patient-focused philosophy puts your needs front and center.
We are constantly investing in leading-edge technology. Innovations that speed the treatment process and improve aesthetics. We're expanding the breadth of our cosmetic and restorative services through training to provide the best possible outcomes.
Just with the level of commitment that they show to taking care of my family and I, it's absolutely unmatched in this town, so I've been very happy with them.
Brightening smiles for more than 3 decades.
Contact Shimon Dental Group for your appointment today.
Well, Isaac Keene is the new pitcher for the Buffaloes. He comes on in relief. Keene, the senior from Norwalk, Connecticut, and Keene State University. Isaac comes in with a record of 3-2. He's pitched in 37 1/3 innings. He's allowed 53 hits, 38 runs, 30 of those earned. He's walked 17, struck out 32. He's allowed 10 doubles, 2 home runs this season. And the senior right-hander comes in with the bases full and 1 out here in the 6th inning in relief of Nick Marshall. Can't close the book yet on Nick because of the 3 base runners aboard. 9-5 our score. Buffs lead it by 4. First pitch misses for a ball. Singled his last at bat. Brandon hit into a fielder's choice to end the 3rd and grounded out to Mike Manetta in the 1st. There's a strike on the inside corner. Shadows have engulfed the pitching mound now and home plate. That one misses inside and high for a ball. So 2-1 the count. Easton Parrish in the on-deck circle for the Rattlers. Keene trying to take care of the bases loaded situation and got Brandon swinging on that one, so that evens the count at 2-2. Keene. Curveball is fouled off at the plate. Keeps it at 2-2. Clay Bradford at first, Jacob King at second, and Jake Morris at third. Hit down the third base line, fouling out of play. Keeps the count at 2-2. The senior trying to get out of it. Isaac Keene. And he hits the batter. That'll walk in a run. So that run will be charged to Nick Marshall. And again, this one just hits the lead shoulder there. That'll bring up Easton Parrish, the catcher. Easton is 1 for 3 at the plate. First pitch misses outside for a ball. Parrish batting .305. Misses again outside for a ball. Parrish flew out to center field back in the 2nd. He had a single in the 4th and came around to score. That was on Rudy Solis's triple. Then grounded out to Eddie Savoy back in the 5th. Top of the 6th here. 9-6, Buffs lead it by 1. Isaac Keene trying to get out of the bases loaded jam. Got him swinging on that inside pitch. So 2 balls and a strike for Parrish. Easton batting from the left side. Sends this one to Savoy on 2 hops over to second in time for 1 on to first base. Not in time. So Parrish does a nice job getting down the base pass. And so Clay Bradford is erased. 4-6 for out number 2. Parrish gets aboard on a fielder's choice, I should say. That was Broughton was erased 4-6. St. Mary's able to get another run. So runners at the corner for Rudy Solis, who is singled, tripled, and walked. So 2 for 2 at the plate. Scored a run. Pitch misses outside for a ball. So 2-0 the count for Rudy Solis. Senior from El Paso with an open stance, batting deep in the batter's box. Batting from the right side. Sends this one out to right field. And back to pull that one in is Will Finning on a fly out to right for out number 3. But St. Mary's gets 2 runs on 1 hit. There were no errors in the inning and 2 left on base. So we have played 5.5. 9-7, Buffaloes with a 2-run lead. We'll take a timeout, be back for the bottom of the 6th after this on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
This isn't just any burger run. This is a burger run for Whataburger Sweet and Spicy Bacon Burger. 2 fresh all-beef patties with melty cheese, grilled onions, crispy bacon, and sweet and spicy pepper sauce. 1 for you, 1 for him, and 1 for your unofficial roommate, Brad. Always order an extra. You know, for Brad. The all-time favorite sweet and spicy bacon burger from Whataburger. Just like you like it.
Bud Light, proudly brewed
in the heart of Texas.
Well, as we get set to go to the bottom of the 6th inning, I tell you a couple of the changes as Clay Bradford has moved from center field over to right field. And the new right fielder is Ryan McGowan, or center fielder is Ryan McGowan. Dylan Fesperman looks at a strike, lead things off, fouls this one off at the plate, so he's down to the count 0-2. 9-7. Buffs 9 runs on 9 hits, 2 errors. St. Mary's 7 runs on 9 hits, 1 error. That's way outside for a ball. So 1 ball, 2 strikes to the first baseman for the Buffaloes, Fesperman. 0-2 at the plate and takes a swing and fouls that one off the umpire. Keeps the count at 1-2. Fesperman's going to make his way back and talk with Matt Vandenberg real quick. Plate umpire who got hit by the pitch, got a chance to kind of walk that one off. Fesperman settles in, ready to go. Takes a swing, and he strikes out. First strikeout for Scherer. That's out number 1. I'm going to bring up Cam Loy. And again, this is just way outside, but Dylan was already committed, so went ahead and pulled the trigger. Cam Loy looks at a strike on the inside corner. That one's low and outside for a ball. Way outside for ball 2. So 2-1 the count for Cam Loy. Cam is 1 for 3 at the plate today. That's outside for ball 3. So 3 balls and a strike. Cam batting .293. And that's outside for ball 4. So Cam will take a walk to first base. First walk given up by Jared Scherer. And that'll bring up Eddie Savoy. Savoy batting from the right side. Eddie has walked twice today. He's 0 for 1 at the plate. Lloyd takes his lead off the bag. Here's a throw to first. He dives back. Dusk here in Canyon. Buffaloes lead at 9-7 here in the bottom of the 6th. Important game for both teams. Went inside and misses for a ball. That one got the outside corner for a strike. So 1-1 the count on the second baseman for the Buffaloes. Savoy batting .268. It's way outside. See, it's still action in the St. Mary's bullpen. That's hit down the third baseline, fouling out of play. Savoy says he's ready. Scherer gets ready to come home with it. And that's going to be popped up down the third base line. Giving chase is Rudy Solis. And he's able to glove that one. So a pop up to third base for out number 2 for Savoy. That'll bring up Evan Leibel, who is 1 for 2 at the plate today with a double. Popped up to the shortstop and walked in the 5th. Leibel batting .293, settles in, batting from the left side. Pitch is high for a ball. Quick throw to first base, and Cam Loy dives back. So the catcher for the Buffaloes settles back in, batting from the left side. Former Oklahoma University player that transferred here in January. Looks at a pitch high for a ball. Evan, who batting .293, set a pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Evan has 7 doubles, a triple, 3 home runs. Loves that shot to right field. And that one misses for a ball. So 3 balls and a strike for the Buffalo receiver. He settles back in, ready to go. Loy takes his lead off the bag at first. That one misses outside for ball 4. So Evan draws his second walk of the ball game. So runners at first and second for the Buffaloes with 2 outs, and that'll bring up Brian Bailey. So the speedster batting .300 on the season. Settles in to bat from the right side. Inside corner for a strike. Bryant, who popped up to the second baseman, his last at bat, struck out and was walked. Scored a run back in the second. He is 0 for 2 today at the plate. It's high for a ball. Evens the count at 1-1. Bryant settles in, batting from the right side. Bluffing at second base, Jake Elizardo comes flying in, and Cam Loy goes back and slowly touches the bag at second. Now takes his lead once again. It's going to be low for a ball. So 2 balls and a strike. Bailey ready to go. That was a high strike for strike 2. It was right at the numbers, which is in that range for the umpires to call. So 2-2 the count on the center fielder for the Buffs. It's going to be hit down the right field line, giving chase as the first baseman, but that's going to be out of play. Keeps the count at 2-2. So Bailey gets his bat, settles back in, ready to go, batting from the right side. Loy at second base. Evan Leibel at first. That's fouled off at the plate. Keeps the count at 2-2. Cam Loy at second. Leibel takes his lead at first. Bailey ready to go. Shearer checks the runner at second and comes home with it. That's going to be high for a ball. So 3 balls, 2 strikes for the center fielder for the Buffaloes. Bailey, who's driven in 9 this season, gets a hit here, can make it its 10th. That's fouled off at the plate. Both runners off with the crack of the bat. So 3-2 pitch from Shearer. Bailey gets ready as they continue their battle. Runners off with a pitch. That's drilled out to center field. And getting underneath that is Ryan McGowan. And so that's out number 3. So Bailey flies out to center for out number 3. No runs for the Buffaloes. No hits. No errors and 2 left on base. We played 6 complete. 9-7. Buffaloes lead it by 2. We'll take a timeout. Be back after this on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
Welcome to Shimon Dental Group, where every day we're excited to see our patients and treat them like family.
We are dedicated to providing you with the highest quality care in a friendly and comfortable environment. Shimon Dental Group's patient-focused philosophy puts your needs front and center.
We are constantly investing in leading-edge technology. Innovations that speed the treatment process and improve aesthetics. We're expanding the breadth of our cosmetic and restorative services through training to provide the best possible outcomes.
Just with the level of commitment that they show to taking care of my family and I, it's absolutely unmatched in this town, so I've been very happy with them.
Brightening smiles for more than 3 decades.
Contact Shimon Dental Group for your appointment today.
Isaac Keene out for his second inning of work. Came on in relief of Nick Marshall back in the 6th inning. Scores around the league. Eastern New Mexico beat Oklahoma Christian 22-21. You think the wind was blowing at Eastern? 22-21 the final. There were 50 hits in that ball game. Kingsville and Angelo are tied at 5. That's in the top of the 7th. A couple of the games that are going on around the area. Tyler loses to UT Permian Basin 14-7. So Isaac Keene pitching to Jake Elizondo. Elizondo, who is 1 for 2 at the plate, shows bunt. He got a strike called on him. So no 2 count on Elizondo. He'll be followed by Matt. Well, we'll check and see who's going to come up and bat. Matt Guana, who pitch hit the last inning. That one is off of Isaac Keene. Here's the throw to first in time. Nice play by Adam Becker. Check on Isaac Keene. They're going to run out and see if he's okay. That came off of his leg. Elizondo's retired 1-5-3. That one bounces off the pitcher. And they're going to check Keene. And, man, he's hurting right now. This one bounces off of him. Becker comes up, throws him out at first. So 1-5-3 put out. Round number 1. Isaac is just trying to loosen up the ankle. Man, that hit him so hard. And so he says he's going to throw a couple pitches. They're going to see how he does. And that's his plant foot. He'll get one more here. I guess they're going to say he's okay, so he's going to stay in. Matt Vandenberg heads back to the dugout. And so that'll bring up Matt Guana. He's 0 for 1 at the plate today in his pitch hitting role. Guana from San Antonio, freshman. Looks at strike 1. Guana, who grounded out to Mike Manetta, his last at bat. Set a pitch low for a ball. Daytime giving way to nighttime. The lights are on. Dusk here in Canyon, Texas. That one misses low for a ball. It's 72 degrees now. We were 78 with our first pitch today. Wind has died down. It's still out of the southwest at 12. Inside corner misses for a ball. So 3 balls and a strike from Isaac Keene to the DH. Matt Guana. Freshman settles back in, ready to go. Inside corner's a strike. So that runs the count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Gonna try to throw the bat back, try to buy that walk, but instead he settles back in to bat from the left side. Keene looking for his first strikeout of the ball game since coming in relief of Nick Marshall. And got it right there. So that is the 6th strikeout for Buff pitching. Keene, again, just a good, solid fastball that was right at the belt, and Guana couldn't catch up to it. That brings up Ryan McGowan, who singled his last at bat. McGowan batting .228, batting from the right side, takes a swing and comes up empty. McGowan settles in, ready to go. McGowan, who moved out into center field when they made the change. Looks at a pitch as a strike on the outside corner. When he moved out to center field, that moved Clay Bradford over to right. So the 0-2 pitch from Isaac Keene popped up down the first base line. Dylan Vesperman giving chase and can't catch that one, man. That did get kind of caught in the wind a little bit. Trying to see how close he was to the fence. Trying to keep an eye on the ball. Just couldn't catch up to it. Still an 0-2 count on McGowan. That's one where coaches feel like they got to play there. You don't want to give the batter another chance. Sometimes that comes back to get you. Again, McGowan, who had a single his last at bat, settles in, batting from the right side. Keene comes home with it. Got him swinging, though, for strike 3. So back-to-back strikeouts for Isaac Keene. And so no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody on base. And we've played through 6.5. Buffalo still lead at 9-7. We'll take a timeout. Be back for the bottom of the 7th after this on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
In life, things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it. It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
So Shearer comes out for another inning of work. He came in relief of Connor Schmidt. So far he's allowed 1 run on 1 hit. And he'll face the top of the order for the Buffaloes. Mike Mineta will lead things off. Mineta looks at a pitch outside for a ball. Mike 2 for 3 at the plate today. Scored 3 runs. Driven in a run. He's walked once. Looks at a strike right there. Got a board on a fielder's choice. The pitch is high for a ball. So 2 balls and a strike for Mike Mineta. The senior from Farmingdale, New York. The pitch is low. Runs the count to 3-1. Scherer comes home with, and that hits Mineta. So he'll head down, tried for a breaking ball. Second time that Jared Scherer has hit a batter since coming on in relief. That'll bring up Ryan Johnson. And before that, a conversation. I know there have been players warming up in the bullpen for the Rattlers. So again, this may be Parrish going out to talk to Shearer and say, this guy's hit 2 home runs. He scored 3 runs today. He was hit by a pitch in the 5th and came around to score. They're having a long conversation. So they pointed to the dugout, but I don't see anybody coming in. Now the umpire's going out. So Parrish going to wrap up his conversation as the umpire says, what are we doing here? And now here comes the coach. So we are going to have a pitching change, and so with a pitching change, we'll take a timeout. We'll be back after this on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
In life, things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it. It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
Choosing the right countertops for your kitchen can be tricky. Nowadays, there are hundreds of colors, patterns, and textures and materials that range from natural to engineered stone. Marble Depot is here for you throughout every step of the process. And yes, we do have a lot of options that might make that decision a little harder, but we're also going to ask the right questions so that you get the most out of your investment. So come by our showroom and let us help create what you've been dreaming of.
We live where wide open roads lead to wide open spaces, where life is lived a different kind of way. We believe that generosity should always be given, but loyalty can only be earned. Community is sacred. Integrity is learned. We believe in going the extra mile, whether it's time to work or it's time to play. But most important, we believe in doing the right thing, always.
WT student athletes drink low-fat chocolate milk post-workout because it helps replenish and restore muscles quickly to their peak potential. Scientific studies suggest that the immediate benefits of low-fat chocolate milk include boosted performance, improved training, and higher recovery rates in athletes. Add low-fat chocolate milk to your post-workout routine.
Go Bucks!
Well, a new pitcher is Josh Buskey. Buskey, 6-foot senior from San Antonio, played at Texas State before coming to St. Mary's. Comes in with an 0-2 record. Buskey has pitched in 16 1/3 innings. He's allowed 28 hits, 26 runs, 24 of those earned. He's walked 16, struck out 15. And he gets set to face Ryan Johnson, who has 2 home runs in this one today. Breaking pitch is in there for a strike. Ryan was hit by a pitch his last at bat and came around to score on the double by Adam Becker. Looks at a pitch down low for a ball. 1 ball to 1 strike. 9-7, Buffs lead it here in the bottom of the 7th. Off-speed pitch is drilled out to left field. Going around second, heading to third, it's Mike Mineta. They're going to wave him on around, and Mineta will come on in to score. And so Mike Mineta will come in on the Ryan Johnson double. Ryan's had a great game today. That is his 6th RBI of the ball game. And again, you just see this hit just kind of off speed, kind of loped in there, and Ryan just took it out like he was hitting a softball out to left center field. So the Buffs lead it now 10-7. Get a bit of an insurance run here in the 7th inning. And that brings up Adam Becker, who doubled his last at bat and drove in 3 runs. Looks at a strike and a fastball. Adam, who's 1 for 4. Buskey comes home with it. And that fastball is outside for a ball. So 1-1 the count. Johnson at second base. Again, he's already scored 3 runs today. 2 of those because he hit home runs. Off-speed pitch. Just dropped out at the end. 2 balls and a strike on Adam Becker, hitting .451. Adam settles in, ready to go. Sends this one to the second baseman. Oh, that took a bad hop. And so that'll plate another run for the Buffaloes. Here's the play at the plate, and Johnson slides in there. So Adam Becker has his second RBI with a single. And in fairness to the second baseman, Jake Elizardo, you watch right here as this one just kind of hits the pitching rubber and goes to the right. He couldn't adjust in time to come up and get that. Good throw, though, from Clay Bradford in right field as he tried to get that one in. So the Buffs get their second run of the inning, and that brings up Will Fenning. Will looks at ball 1. Will 2 for 3 at the plate. Flew out to center field his last at bat. He was hit by a pitch in the 4th and then had 2 singles. Call that a strike, and you can hear the home fans. They didn't quite agree with that one. So a 1-1 count for Will Fenning. That's popped up down the right field line. Now, the right fielder lost, but I think that is going to go in the bullpen, and it does. So 1 ball and 2 strikes on the right fielder for the Buffaloes. (11-7). Buffs with that push it back to a 4-run lead. Becker takes his lead off the bag at first. That's hit down the right field line, fouling out of play. Keeps the count at 1-2. Dylan Fesperman in the on-deck circle for the Buffs. And that's drilled past the third baseman for a base hit. Becker will round second and will stay there. So back-to-back hits have runners at first and second for the Buffaloes. And that'll bring up Dylan Fesperman. So Dylan 0 for 3 at the plate today, batting .288. He wants to get a hit because he was hitting over 300 when he came into this one today. Fesperman batting from the right side. He's going to pitch outside for a ball. Cam Loy in the on-deck circle. Bottom of the 7th inning. That's fouled off at the play. That evens the count at 1-1. Buffs have scored 2 on 3 hits. Fesperman with runners at first and second. Settles back in, ready to go. That one comes inside, just misses him. He started to get out of the way, then did not. I think the umpire said something to him about you need to make an attempt. Kind of an off-speed pitch from Buskey. That one hits his hand. But they're calling it a foul ball. So Matt Vandenberg is asking, and now he's in agreement. They're going to give him first base, so that'll load the bases as Fesperman is hit by a pitch. For Buskey, that's the first time he's hit a batter, but they've hit 4 batters at the plate today. So that moves Fenning to second and Adam Becker to third. And now, of course, Chris Irma's coming out and wants to know why that wasn't a foul ball, because it hit his hand as he was holding the bat. And that's his question there. But it was a quick conversation, so he's heading back.
Number 11, Cam Loy.
So they'll bring up Cam Loy. Cam 1 for 3 at the plate. Looks at strike one. Cam, who walked his last at bat, was left stranded at second. He has popped up to the pitcher, grounded out to second base, and singled. Way off speed pitch is way outside for a ball. So 1-1 count on the DH for the Buffaloes. This one's popped up. Hit out to the shortstop, who comes up with it. Now gets it back in. So Loy pops up to the shortstop for out number 1. And that'll bring up Eddie Savoy. Looks at a strike. Savoy, 0-1 count. Settles in. It's inside for a ball. And that one gets away from the catcher, but it stays in where he can address it. So 2 balls and a strike on Eddie Savoy. Savoy, who popped up to the third baseman his last at bat. He's also walked and scored twice today. Looks at a pitch down low for a ball. So 3 balls and a strike for the Buffalo second baseman. Savoy batting from the right side, settles in, ready to go. Foul tips that one off. And I think that may have been fouled off of him. So he'll take a stretch out a little bit. Got that left leg wrapped up with the wrap on it. Protective shield. Got the elbow with protection on it. So 3-2 pitch from Josh Buskey. That's low for ball 4. That'll walk in a run. Eddie Savoy drives in a run. So he will head down to first base. That'll bring Adam Becker home. And that'll bring up Evan Leibel. Still action in the St. Mary's bullpen. And that's probably going to be all for Josh Buskey. We'll see. But Josh has not been able, he's only got 1 out since coming in. So that's going to be it for Buskey. We have another pitching change. We'll take that and come back after this timeout on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
Carpet Tech, and we are family. More than carpet cleaners, we're a team. Diving right in, not afraid to invest in our work and each other. We're killing it day in and day out, never shrinking from a challenge. Our people are 1 part passion, 1 part grit, and about a zillion parts awesome. And and we are always looking to add to our family. So what are you waiting for?
Delicious, refreshing, Pepsi.
Choosing the right countertops for your kitchen can be tricky. Nowadays, there are hundreds of colors, patterns, and textures and materials that range from natural to engineered stone. Marble Depot is here for you throughout every step of the process. And yes, we do have a lot of options that might make that decision a little harder, but we're also going to ask the right questions so that you get the most out of your investment. So come by our showroom and let us help create what you've been dreaming of.
Well, the freshman Brody Tyser comes on in relief. Brody, another player from San Antonio Central Catholic. They have, I think, 4 players from San Antonio Central Catholic, all freshmen. Brody, 6'3", 185-pound freshman, comes in with a record of 0-1. He's pitched in 10 innings. He's allowed 17 hits, 16 runs, all 16 earned. He's walked 5, struck out 4. First pitch swinging for Evan Leibel is strike 1. Evan, the 8th batter to come to the plate here in the 7th inning for the Buffs. They lead at 12-7 here in the bottom of the 7th. That one misses for a ball. Evan settles in, sends this one back over the pitcher's head. It's going to be a tough play, not in time at first. Oh, they did call him out. Wow. Got a run knocked in, though, as Will Finning came around to score. We'll look at the replay here. Nice job by Evan Leibel as he hustled down the base path. This one goes over the pitcher's head. He's hustling. Second baseman comes up throwing. Can't see it there, but they say that the ball got there before the runner did. So Leibel is retired 4-3 for out number 2. Does drive in a run. So Dylan Fesperman moves over to third base. And Eddie Savoy is over at second, and we're going to have a pitch hitter for the Buffs. Well, Glenn Nerona will come up and pitch hit, the 5'8" sophomore from Ontario, batting from the left side. First pitch is in there for a strike. Nerona, who has a 200 batting average. This is his 6th at bat, takes a swing, comes up empty, a little late on that one. And that's when you don't see a lot of pitches. He's got 1 hit. He has scored 7 runs, so they use him in a pitch runner role quite a bit. He's also driven in a couple this season. That one misses for a ball. So 1 ball, 2 strikes on the sophomore from Ontario. Drives this one down the right field line, but that is curling foul. Got a hold of it, though. Nice hit for Nerona. So Glenn settles in, ready to go. Pitches inside for a ball. 2-2 the count. You can hear the St. Mary's fans and their frustration on that call there. We will say St. Mary's also had some fans here from the local Canyon area. There's a Canyon player from Canyon High School that plays for St. Mary's. That one's fouled off at the plate. So they have redshirt freshman Brett Atkinson, who's from the area. So Nerona settles back in, 2-2 count. Batting from the left side. Drives this one down the left field line, and that one is curving foul. And that was the right place to go with it, too. Just a little too foul. Keeps the count at 2-2. Our at second base is Eddie Savoy. Dylan Fesperman at third. 2 outs here in the 7th inning. Buffs lead at 13-7. That one low for ball 3, so a full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes for Nerona. Glenn, a sophomore, settles in ready to go. And that one misses the outside corner for ball 4, so Glenn draws a walk. And we go to the top of the order, Mike Mineta. So bases are loaded for the Buffaloes. Mineta, who was hit by a pitch his last at bat from Jared Scherer. Drives this one down the left field line, and that one is going to stay fair for a base hit off the wall. It's played by Jared King. 2 runs come home, 3 runs come home for the Buffaloes on a double for Mike Mineta. So Mike Mineta drives in his 2nd, 3rd, and 4th RBI of the ball game. And the Buffs lead it now by a count of 16-7 as Fesperman comes home. So too does Savoy. And so too does Nerona. He motors around from first to come home on that hit. Good speed. And they'll bring up Ryan Johnson. Ryan's 2 for 3 at the plate today. He scored 4 runs. Looks at a pitch down low. Johnson's also driven in 6 runs today. It's 3 for 4, I should say, batting .370. Ryan settles in, ready to go. Pops this one up out into right center field, giving chase is Bradford. And settling underneath to pull that one in is Ryan McGowan. And so Johnson flies out to center for out number 3, but the Buffs send 11 to the plate. 7 runs in the inning on five hits. And there were no errors in the inning and 1 left on base. We played 7. The Buffs lead at 16-7. We'll take a timeout and be back after this on the Lone Star Conference.
This is gonna be tough. I mean, that's a bag full of Whataburger's Buffalo Ranch chicken strip sandwiches with tangy buffalo sauce and creamy buttermilk ranch, melty Monterey Jack cheese, and 3 crunchy chicken strips. How long will you have to wait before you enjoy yours? Oh, about that long. Whataburger's Buffalo Ranch chicken strip sandwich is back for a limited time, just like you like it.
Well, Isaac King back on for another inning of work. He's pitched an inning and 2/3. And struck out 2 so far. To get set to face the top of the order, Jake Morris to lead things off. Jake 1 for 3 at the plate, batting .347. Looks at a strike on the outside corner. Top of the 8th inning, Buffaloes lead at 16-7. Buffs again scored 7 runs in the 7th. That's driven down the right field line. Will Finney giving chase, but that one is going to be foul and out of play. So that just turns into a long strike for Jake Morris. Jacob King and Clay Bradford, 1, 2, and 3 in the batting order for the Rattlers. They will lead things off here in the 8th. There is action in the WT bullpen. Heading down there to start warming up is Reese Miller. That's drilled out into right or left center field, so heading toward second base, should say, is a stand-up double for Jake Morris, his second of the ball game. So he gets aboard with a leadoff double. Again, this is just a solid wrap if he's got that Isaac Keene fastball and just took it out with him to left center field. Center fielder, by the way, the new center fielder is Glenn Urana. King looks at a strike. Jacob is 0 for 2 at the plate today. He has scored 2 runs, got aboard on an error and walked once. Fouls that one off at the plate. That got Evan Leibel. They're going to give him a minute. So he'll kind of walk around a little bit, try to get the feeling back. Not sure if that got him in the shoulder or got him in the hand. Evan will shake it off, say, I'm ready to go. So Evan gets behind the plate, says, I'm ready. 0-2 pitch from Isaac Keene. Got him swinging for strike 3. Third strikeout for Isaac. That is out number 1. Just a nice pitch from Isaac on that replay. Got him swinging all the way. That'll bring up Clay Bradford. Bradford, who is 2 for 3 at the plate today. He's also driven in 3 runs. Of course, he had that big home run back in the 5th. Looks at a strike. Keene, the senior from Norwalk, Connecticut. Checks the runner at second, then comes home, and that's fouled off at the plate. So Bradford down in the count 0-2. First time Bradford has faced Isaac Keene. It was after Bradford walked back in the 6th that the Buffs made the pitching change and brought in Isaac to replace Nick Marshall. That's popped up and out of play. Keeps the count 0-2. 16-7, the Buffs with the lead. Marshall went 5 in the 3rd. Keene's come on and so far through 2 innings. It's allowed 1 hit. And that one is a little number hit to the shortstop. Mineta comes up throwing. That's going to be wide of first base. So that'll allow Morris to get down to third. So Bradford is aboard. So he'll get a single, but he'll get to second base on the throwing error, E6. That's the third error for Mike Bonetta today. So runners at second and third with one out for Brandon Broughton. First baseman will settle in to bat from the right side. Brandon, who's grounded out, hit into fielder's choice, singled, and it's hit by a pitch. Fouls this one off at the plate. So 0-1 the count. On the Rattlers' first baseman, St. Mary's Rattlers, 15-21 conference record, 17-21. They sit in that 8th playoff spot right now. Nice fastball. Had him swinging. He's down in the count 0-2. Keene working here in the 8th. This may be all. They may go to Reese Miller after this. Got him swinging. That's a base hit. That'll play to run. Ryan Johnson comes up throwing, and so Broughton has his second hit of the ball game and drives in another run. So he's driven in 2 today. Makes it 16-8 as Jake Mars comes home. Bradford moves over to third. So runners at the corner with one out for Easton Parrish. Parrish looks at a ball inside. Parrish. Batting .303, he is 1 for 4 at the plate. Takes a swing, comes up empty on an off-speed pitch. Evens the count at 1-1. So Parrish settles back in, ready to go, batting from the left side. Inside pitch gets away from Leibel. A run will score as a keen cover, but just couldn't get there in time. So Clay Bradford comes home. Makes it 16-9. So the runner moves to second base. That's Broughton. Taking a swing and coming up empty is Parrish. So 2 balls, 2 strikes for the catcher for the Rattlers. Parrish settles back in, ready to go. Batting from the left side. Keene checks the runner at second, then comes home, misses on the outside corner. So that runs the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Keene batting .303, but .342 with runners in scoring position. Sends this one down the left field line, fouling out of play. Keeps the count full at 3-2. Keene steps on the rubber, getting ready for his 43rd pitch. Slow roller hit back. And they tag, let's see, they tag him. Yeah, they're going to call him out. He ran out of the baseline anyway. And so Parrish is retired, 1 unassisted for out number 2. Brown moves over to third base. So it'll bring up Rudy Solis. So the third baseman for the Rattlers will settle in to bat from the right side. The El Paso senior is 2 for 3 at the plate today. He's walked once, had a single in the second, triple in the fourth, and drove in a run. He scored a run as well, and flew out to right field in the 6th. Solis powers this one down the third baseline, but foul. So 1-1 count on Solis. Jake Alessandro in the on-deck circle. Should Solis get aboard? Off-speed pitch, fouled off and out of play. So 1 ball, 2 strikes on Rudy Solis. Batting .336. It's .276 when there's 2 outs, but also .293 when there's a runner in scoring position. So take your pick on that one. A little number that's going to be hit. That's going to fall in a little flare that'll go in for a base hit. So Solis gets his second hit, drives in another run. As Brown comes home. Makes it 16-10 in favor of the Buffaloes. That'll bring up Jake Elizondo. Elizondo, 2 for 3 at the plate today. Or actually 1 for 3 because he got a board on an error. So to pitch outside for a ball. Jake batting .257. Second baseman for the Rattlers. Settles in from the right side. Nice open stance. Takes a big cut and it turns into a strike. So the Isaac Keene fastball gets by him, 1-1 count. For Elizondo from San Antonio. 5'9" junior settles in, ready to go. So the pitch outside that misses. So 2 balls and a strike. Elizondo pretty much playing, defense is playing pretty much straight away on the right-handed hitter. Sends this one towards second base. On in time for second base. As Mike Manetta, I think he drug his foot over the second base to get Rudy Solis out. 4-6 for out number 3. So 3 runs come home for the Rattlers on 4 hits. And there were no errors in the inning. Or I should check it. There was 1 error in the inning and 1 left on base. We played 7.5. The Buffs lead at 16-10. We'll take a timeout. Be back after this on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
headquarters and get helped, get fitted, and get your questions.
Well, Adam Becker leads things off here in the bottom of the 8th. Looks at ball 1. Becker, who's 2 for 5 at the plate, has driven in 4 runs today. Batting .454. Check swing. So 2-0 count. One got the outside corner for a strike. Brody Tyser on in relief. He is the 4th pitcher used by the Rattlers. Connor Schmidt started the ball game. Freshman got the outside corner. Becker is upset with himself because he was looking for something else, and that one came right where he should have been able to drive it. Takes this one to the third baseman, shortstop. No play there as Becker is going to get aboard with a hit. So a leadoff single for Adam Becker. And that'll bring up Will Fenning. Fenning is 3 for 4 at the plate today. Will scored a run. He's been hit by a pitch. He's also flown out. Batting .376, batting from the right side. Sends this one to the second baseman on in time to first. So they get the 4-6-3 double play as Fenning hits to Jake Elizardo, and he turns the double play for 2 outs. And that'll bring up Dylan Fesperman. Fesperman 0 for 3 today at the plate. Looks at ball 1. And that one hits him. So Fesperman will head down to first base. It's the first batter hit by Tyser. And that hurts. As Dylan will head down to first, get set, ready to run. That'll bring up Cam Loy. Cam looks at a strike. Cam popped up to the shortstop his last at bat. He's walked. He's singled, popped up to the pitcher, and grounded out. Time taken. Dylan Fesperman's coming over, and they may get a pinch runner for him. So Paul Whitman will come in and pitch run for Dylan. Sophomore from Tiggerham, Germany. We'll head over. Good speed on the base pass. So no 1 count on Cam Loy. Loy fouls this one off at the plate. So Cam down in the count 0-2. Loy settles in, ready. Batting from the left side. 289 at the plate. That one's fouled off at the plate. Whitman was off with a pitch. He was easily at second base, but he'll retreat, head back to first. Paul gets ready to go, takes his lead. About 4 steps off the bag at first. 0-2 count for Cam Loy. Got to protect the plate. Quick throw. Whitman's back. And it's shifted over to second base side. Whitman off with the pitch again, and he easily will steal second base. So 1 ball, 2 strikes on Cam Malloy. Loy settles back in, ready to go. Batting from the left side. Junior from Mansfield looks at a pitch down low. Parrish does a nice job to keep that one from getting away from him. Paul Whitman had a baseball in his back pocket. He throws that out. So 2-2 count for Cam. Check swing. That is going to be, let's see, they're going to call that fair. Cam didn't even run. He thought that was foul all the way, but he's going to ground out 1-3 for out number 3. So no runs on 1 hit. No errors in the inning and 1 left on base. We have played 8 complete. Buffs lead this one 16-10. We'll take a timeout. Be back after this on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
This is a walk-on athlete. They train longer, put their heart into the game. This is the passion we're built on. It's why we put our heart into creating game day with a taste of Louisiana. Walk-ons, we live for this.
Jenkins Doors and Windows began serving the Texas Panhandle in 1927, and we take pride in being a part of your neighborhood. We don't use false promises or gimmicks. We simply offer quality doors and windows at a fair price, and we stand behind every sale. Jenkins is family owned and operated, and proudly continues the traditions of quality and excellence that started over 80 years ago. Call us at 372-4336 or stop by our showroom at 820 West 6th and let our knowledgeable staff help you pick out the perfect doors and windows for your home.
Well, new pitcher for the Buffaloes is Douglas Rojas comes on in relief. Doug, who has an 0-3 record this season, has pitched in 32 innings. He's just been hard luck to come up with wins. He's pitched well. He's allowed 31 hits, 30 runs, 27 of those earned. He's walked 21, struck out 36. Doug from Valencia, Venezuela. Played at Indian Hills Community College. He's a junior, 5'11", 185 pounds, left-hander. Getting his final warm-up tosses in. As we go to the top of the ninth, the Buffs lead it 16-10. There have been 26 runs scored on 26 hits. There have been 4 errors in the ball game, 3 committed by the Buffaloes. Buffs have also left 11 on base, while St. Mary's has left 9. So final warm-up toss for Doug Rojas. Doug comes in with a 7.59 earned run average. So he gets set to face Matt Guana. The pitch is outside for a ball. So it'll be Guana followed by McGowan. And the top of the order, Jake Morris. That one's inside for a ball. So 2-0 count. Guana, who, we'll change it, sorry. Pitch hitter is Jorge Cuevas. Cuevas, a sophomore from El Paso. 2-1 count on Jorge. Cuevas takes a swing and comes up empty. So a 2-2 count on the pitch hitter. Ryan McGowan in the on-deck circle. And then striking out, Cuevas for out number 1. So Cuevas, first strikeout victim for Douglas Rojas. That is the 9th strikeout for Buffalo pitching. And that'll bring up Ryan McGowan. He's 1 for 2 at the plate. Takes a swing, comes up empty. McGowan settles in. Off-speed pitch just misses a little low. That's what Doug wanted. Thought he had it. So it evens the count at 1-1. 16-10, Buffs lead it here in the 9th inning. 1 out. That misses outside and high for ball 2. There's a strike on the inside corner. So 2-2 count on the center fielder for the Rattlers. McGowan settles in. Drives this one out into left field for a base hit. Gets his second hit of the ball game. So he is aboard with a 1-out single. So that'll go to the top of the order. Jake Morris will come up. Morris, who doubled his last at bat and scored back in the 8th inning, looks at a pitch outside for a strike. Morris settles in, ready. Looks at a, nice pitch on the outside corner, just misses though. Evens the count at 1-1. That one's going to be hit up the middle over the head. Nice effort by Eddie Savoy, just couldn't come up with it. And we do have a change that we didn't get catch, but kicks Farrell in at shortstop. Mike Manetta has moved over to second base. So 2 runners aboard on the single by Morris, and that'll bring up Jacob King. Check out a pitch hitter coming up to the plate. Alex Mintz. Mintz takes a cut, comes up empty. Mintz, freshman from Houston, 5'7", 160, takes a cut and can't catch that one either. So he's down in the count 0-2. This is the 7th plate appearance for Alex. Settles in, ready to go, batting from the right side, facing Doug Rojas, the left-hander. And that's strike 3. So second strikeout for Doug Rojas. Second out of the inning. Again, just a great pitch, inside corner. And Alex Mintz thought that was going to be a ball, but it caught the inside part of the plate. So to bring up Clay Bradford. Bradford singled and got to second on an error last inning and came around to score. Bradford is 3 for 4 at the plate today. He scored 2 runs, driven in 3. That was, of course, that 3-run home run back in the 5th. Takes a swing. That gets away from Evan Leibel, so the base runners advance. So Morris is at second. McGowan is at third. One count for Clay Bradford. One misses outside for a ball. So 2 balls and a strike. Pitch is high for a ball. So 3 balls, 1 strike. Trying to be careful with Clay Bradford. Batting .410. Again, his hit a double and a home run. That pitch misses for a ball, so he'll take a walk. And that loads the bases. First walk given up by Douglas Rojas. We go to the cleanup hitter, Brandon Broughton. Broughton, 6'1" senior from Corpus Christi, played at Wharton Junior College. Pitches inside for a ball. And before that, we're going to have a trip to the mound. I think that's just to kind of make sure everybody's on the same page. I know they had still got somebody warming up, and I think it's Reese Miller, but Doug Rojas came in. This will be probably a quick conversation. Hey, we'd like to recognize Mickey's Place as a proud sponsor of WT Athletics, located on the square in Canyon. Mickey's Place provides a modern twist on traditional Italian cuisine along with non-Italian favorites. And WT Athletics would also like to thank MetaDrive Pharmacy for their support of our athletes. Located on 23rd Street, MetaDrive can assist you with all your pharmaceutical needs. MetaDrive is the official pharmacy of WT Athletics. Corey Hall gets his final comments in with Douglas Rojas just to make sure everybody's on the same page. So a 1-0 count on Brandon Broughton. Senior settles back in, ready to go. That one's going to be fouled off and out of play. So that evens the count at 1-1. 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. 16-10, the Buffs lead it. Douglas Rojas in on in relief. He's the 3rd WT pitcher in the ball game. Nick Marshall started, went 5 1/3. That's hit down the third base line, fouling out of play. One ball, 2 strikes on the cleanup hitter for the Rattlers. And Ross got him swinging for out number 3, a strikeout. And so 3 strikeouts here in the inning. Buffaloes end up with 11 strikeouts on the night, and they win this one by a final of 16-10. WT 16 runs on 14 hits. They did commit 3 errors. The Rattlers 10 runs on 14 hits, 1 error. Buffs improved to 27-12, 25-12 in LSC play, while Rattlers fall to 22, 15-22 on the season. We'll take a timeout, come back with some post-game interviews, but first this break on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network.
Suddenlink is now Optimum, with award-winning internet, TV, and mobile, giving you the power to get closer and go farther with speed and reliability. With our new 100% fiber internet we're building, together with Optimum Mobile, voted #1 in customer satisfaction, you'll get the complete connectivity you deserve. And when you combine Optimum's award-winning connectivity with our 24/7 customer service, your future is only a connection away.
One West is the comprehensive fundraising campaign designed to fuel WT 125 from the Panhandle to the world. We will strengthen WT's impact for the Panhandle region and beyond through a historic, comprehensive campaign, raising $125 million by 2025. The campaign's 3 priorities: people, programs, and places. Now is the time to make a difference for current and future generations. One West.
WT student athletes drink low-fat chocolate milk post-workout because it helps replenish and restore muscles quickly to their peak potential. Scientific studies suggest that the immediate benefits of low-fat chocolate milk include boosted performance, improved training, and higher recovery rates in athletes. Add low-fat chocolate milk to your post-workout routine.
Go Bucks!
The best tailgates start with the best beef, and the best beef starts with Market Street. Market Street, where we do beef the best.
Well, welcome back as the Buffaloes win this one 16-10 against St. Mary's today. And so kind of interesting. I don't know if you guys know yet or not, but of course Kingsville came away with a win, beat Angelo, and also Tyler took a loss today too. So this helps your cause as well with a 16-10 victory. Mike Mineta, of course, the senior from New York who has made his way here to the Buffaloes playing shortstop, and got a chance to talk with Matt Vandenberg earlier this week. And he was just talking about your consistency in that leadoff spot and just how you kind of set the table for the Buffs this year. And so would you kind of look at it that way? Do you feel like that in that leadoff?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my job's easy. I got 2 All-Americans behind me, so all I got to do is get on base, and I know they'll drive me in.
Well, and again, you had some hits today that drove in some runs, a couple of singles and a double, drove in 4 today. I believe I got that right. And so, again, really 1, 2, and 3 in the lineup really not only sets the table, but kind of makes the offense go.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I'm not really trying to do too much, especially with those guys behind me, so I'm just trying to stay short, and when I get a good pitch, I try and do the most with it.
So what were you looking at? Obviously different pitchers out there today. They had to go 4 deep. But when you have those pitching changes, are you looking for something different, techniques, tendencies? What are you looking for?
I mean, we got the scouting reports. We got, like, the percentages and pitches. So when I see that, I kind of, especially early on in counts, I'll just look for one pitch. And then if I don't get it, I'll just spit on it.
Right. And so talk a little bit about this series, because when, again, talking to Coach Vandenberg, you guys are sitting in the 4th spot. And, again, a couple of wins and a couple of other losses kind of help move some things around. But that's gives you that first round home field advantage, and so you're trying to hold on to that or move up a little bit as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're just trying to just do what we can. We're not too worried about what everyone else is doing. We just got to just keep going out, taking one game, one pitch at a time.
Where do you feel like you're at as far as hitting is concerned this season? Do you feel very comfortable when you're going up to the plate? And again, you get to check out the pitcher first. You get to see what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm usually like to take a couple pitches early on, see what's going on, and if I get out, then I can just go relay back to the guys. But I'm just trying to see a bunch of pitches and kind of work the pitch count a little bit.
Well, Mike had a great game today. Got on 5 times actually. No, let's make it 6 times because he got on with a walk, got on a fielder's choice, scored 4 runs. Kind of an overall pretty good game for you today.
Yeah, not bad. I'll take it.
Take those every day, right?
Yeah, definitely wish we made a few less errors, but well, tomorrow's a new day.
A couple of those were hit pretty hard to you, too. So, again, congratulations on the win, and good luck for the rest of this series.
Thank you.
Mike Mineta joining us. Mike, we appreciate it. Thanks very much. Get Matt Vandenberg in here just a little bit. There were 3 errors in the game today, and I know Mike was kind of handcuffed on a couple of those, but again, the same thing. We talk a little bit about those guys that start from Mike Mineta on down kind of really set the table offensively for you.
Yeah, I thought we did a really good job offensively. Obviously, Mike and Johnson had really good days at the top of the order, and obviously wasn't pleased with us on the mound or defensively. You talk about Mike, how good he was offensively, but he cost us some runs defensively, and that's something we can't have, especially out of a shortstop. Listen, those are routine plays. They've got to be made, and then we walked way too many guys. I mean, Marshall didn't have his best stuff, but he competed, found a way to give us a chance to get a win, and that's ultimately all we can ask for.
When you have that too, Nick went 5 1/3, and yes, he didn't look, I don't want to say comfortable, but I just feel like he didn't have what he's had in games past. And so when you look at that, is that something you just kind of let him kind of work through it?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, he's our number one, and you never want to go to the bullpen that early on a Friday night and stuff. But listen, I mean, I don't know how many walks he ended up having. I think the one inning he had 4 walks and had that one really bad inning. But all in that, listen, he still found a way to compete, and that's all we can ask for. Even when he didn't have his best stuff, I mean, he found a way to keep us in a ball game. And offensively, I thought we were pretty good today.
Yeah, offensively, you guys are seeing them fairly well. And you did what you kind of like to do. You like to get into their bullpen, too. They brought 4 pitchers out, and so that kind of sets the table a little bit for tomorrow.
Yeah, I thought our guys did a good job of, taking what they gave us. We didn't swing at a lot of bad pitches, drew a lot of walks, and ultimately did a really good job. And listen, we're going to have to do the same thing all weekend. We're down some guys. We got some guys hurt and got some guys that aren't in the lineup because they don't do things the way we want them to do them.
And so with that, you get set for 2 games tomorrow. And I don't know if you're watching scoreboard or not, but of course Angelo had a loss today, so too did Tyler. So you need to keep winning and keep having those things happen, and that kind of helps set you up to move up a little bit.
Yeah, all we're worried about is ourselves. I hadn't even looked at see how other teams did or anything, but we just got to go win ball games.
Well, you won this one 16-10. Wish you good luck for the one tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Thanks
for having
thanks.
me. Thanks.
Matt Vandenberg joining us on the postgame show. Again, the Buffs win this one 16-10. And so they'll play 2 tomorrow. We'll start at 3 o'clock with 2:50 actually, with the pregame show coming your way right here on the Lone Star Conference Digital Network. Big thanks to the Thunder Vision crew, Casey, for bringing the great pictures today. And we'll do the same thing for you tomorrow. Again, the Buffs win this one 16-10. Until tomorrow, have a pleasant good evening